They told us the internet would set us free, that it would tear down borders, expose corruption, and give power back to the people. But freedom was never free. While we were posting, scrolling, and sharing, someone else was building an empire without borders, armies, or flags, ruled not by generals, but by algorithms. It doesn't conquer land. It colonizes attention. It doesn't silence you. It studies you. Every tap, every click, every pause between words is another vote for control, because this empire doesn't need violence. It doesn't even need permission. It just needs you to stay online. We thought the internet made us powerful, but somewhere along the way, we became the product. The old empires ruled through fear. This one rules through comfort, because when control feels convenient, you'll never want to escape it. When the internet was born, it didn't look like power. It looked like freedom. In the 1990s, it was chaos in its purest form, a digital frontier where anyone could build, write, or say anything. No borders, no kings, no gatekeepers. It was the Wild West of ideas, and it felt infinite. Hackers were heroes, forums were kingdoms, and every new website felt like unexplored territory. The dream was simple. Information wants to be free, and for a while, it was. But freedom is expensive, and someone always pays. Keeping the world connected cost billions, and soon the dreamers were replaced by designers. The coders became CEOs. The rebels became corporations. The internet wasn't a frontier anymore. It was farmland, and we were the crops. Platforms promised convenience. Search engines promised knowledge. Social media promised connection. But each free tool came with a silent trade, your data for their dominance. The open web, once infinite, started to close. Independent sites vanished. The portals shrank to a handful of apps, and suddenly, the same companies that built the network owned the network. That's when the dream changed. The internet didn't connect people anymore, it captured them, because every empire begins the same way, with explorers, then settlers, then systems of control. And by the time we realized what it had become, the borders were already drawn. The old empires taxed land. The new one taxes attention. Every second you spend online, every scroll, pause, or like, is a microtransaction of power. You think you're browsing, but you're being measured. In the early 2000s, something changed. The web stopped being an experiment and became an economy. Data, your data, became the most valuable resource on Earth. Not oil, not gold, information, what you love, what you fear, where you go, who you talk to. It's all recorded, analyzed, and sold. Not to control what you do today, but to predict what you'll do tomorrow. Google mapped the planet, and then monetized curiosity. Facebook connected billions, and then monetized loneliness. Amazon made shopping effortless and turned convenience into dependence. They didn't charge you a cent, because you were never the customer. You were the product. Every click is a confession. Every search, a fingerprint. Every moment of boredom becomes data. And that data funds everything. It feeds ads, manipulates markets, and even influences elections. You don't need to censor people when you can redirect them. You don't need violence when you can sell distraction. That's the genius of modern control. It doesn't feel like control. It feels like comfort. The more convenient life became, the less we noticed who was profiting from our choices. Because the internet doesn't steal your freedom, it rents it back to you, one click at a time. We still call it the free internet. But freedom online was quietly redesigned. You can say anything you want as long as the algorithm finds it profitable. You can see the whole world, as long as it fits inside your feed. What started as connection became confinement. Every user now lives in a personalized reality, a world filtered, sorted, and ranked for maximum engagement. You think you're exploring, but you're being guided. You think you're choosing, but your options were chosen for you. The internet used to give us information. Now it gives us confirmation. It doesn't challenge your beliefs, it curates them. That's not freedom, that's feedback. And the more data we feed it, the better it gets at feeding us back what we already want to hear. That's how control works in the 21st century, not by silencing voices, but by drowning them. Flood the world with noise, confuse truth with opinion, turn facts into feelings, and people will cage themselves in comfort. The new dictators don't burn books. They bury them under memes, ads, and infinite scroll. Because when freedom feels overwhelming, order starts to look attractive again. The internet didn't kill individuality, it industrialized it. Mass-produced personalities. algorithmically optimized emotions, and we called it progress, because the chains were invisible and the cell signal was strong. Every empire needs infrastructure. Rome had roads, Britain had ships, the digital empire has servers. Under the oceans, thousands of cables hum quietly, arteries of information pulsing with light. They connect continents, governments, and lives, but they belong to no nation. They belong to corporations. Amazon Web Services runs half the internet, Google indexes the other half, and if either went dark tomorrow, the global economy would stall overnight. That's power, not in armies, but in uptime. We think of the internet as cloud and code, but it's land, steel, and energy. Vast warehouses filled with servers, burning electricity to keep our data alive, our memories, our histories, ourselves. These data centers are the new cathedrals. No stained glass, just LED lights. No prayers, just code. And the high priests of this empire don't wear crowns or uniforms, they wear hoodies. Governments once ruled people. Now they negotiate with platforms, because the power that controls communication controls perception, and perception shapes reality. When a company can decide what you see, what you buy, and what you believe, that company is the empire. Its borders are invisible. Its armies are algorithms. Its citizens are users. And every law it writes is hidden inside a terms of service agreement no one ever reads, because the most powerful control is the one you consent to without realizing it. We used to fear surveillance cameras. Now we carry them in our pockets. Every photo, message, heartbeat, and purchase feeds the same machine, a system that knows us better than we know ourselves. Privacy didn't disappear overnight. We gave it away in exchange for convenience. Location tracking for directions, face scans for filters, voice data for personalization. And in that trade, we built the perfect dictatorship, because control doesn't need soldiers anymore. It has sensors, apps, and algorithms. It doesn't punish you for disobedience. It nudges you toward compliance. A small warning, a shadow ban, a personalized ad. Tiny signals that shape your behavior, one notification at a time. Governments once spied to maintain power. Now corporations do it to maximize profit. The two have become indistinguishable. China perfects surveillance with cameras. The West does it with cookies. Different tools, same goal. A world where everything is tracked and nothing is questioned. Because in the age of data, transparency doesn't mean freedom, it means exposure. The internet promised connection, but what it really built was dependency. A world where silence feels impossible and attention is currency. The digital empire doesn't force obedience, it designs it. And the moment you start to depend on comfort, you stop noticing the cage. In the end, the internet didn't conquer us with fear. It conquered us with convenience. It offered freedom, but measured it. It promised equality, but monetized it. It connected the world, but divided our minds. The digital empire doesn't need to rule nations. It rules narratives. And the wars of the future won't be fought for territory, but for attention. We once believed we were shaping technology. Now, technology shapes us. Every tap, every view, every choice optimized by code. But understanding that is the first step to breaking it, because the algorithm only wins when you stop asking who's behind it. If this gave you a new perspective, don't just scroll away, hit subscribe. This is Economic Chronicles, where history exposes the present and the future is written in the lessons we refuse to learn.